Yeah.
Hi guys, Tiffany here, back again, part 2. I had to do it in 2 parts for this live because we had to move all the lighting back because we took the lighting from in here and brought it out there. So, next part is assembling the rows. So, this part from here on after the laying it out is so much faster because laying it out tires me out. Remember to stay hydrated. So, that's what I do. Okay, so we're back again. Here we are. And we're going to put these rows together, and I was using my machine the other day, so I have to put my 1/4 inch seam back where it is. So here are my rows. They're all stacked up nicely, and I'm going to move them out of the way, and I am going to grab row 1, all the pieces to it, and I'm going to lay it right next to me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put piece 1 from row 1 right here, leaving the rest in the same way they came up. And I'm going to put it right sides together. What you're always checking for is to make sure that you have a print next to a solid every time. That would be at the top. And what we're going to do, get my other pins, and I'm going to pin these junctions just for now to show you guys that you can. You don't have to if you're not a pinner. And I have a pin mess down here. Didn't even realize that. Don't mind my son, he's just hanging out of bed. But here is going to be our junctions. And the reason why we pressed things a specific way is because those junctions are going to come together where the seams were pressed the opposite ways. So we are going to stick a pin in. And I'm going to put it right at that junction. And I'm going to put another one right at the other junction at the bottom. And if they were all cut at 8.5 inches, when you trimmed them down, they should all match up. I'm going to put a pin right here at the beginning just to hold it in place for the moment. Actually, I can just put that pin like right here. I'm going to lay this right down at my machine. And I'm going to sew down this side with a 1/4 inch seam. Open that nicely and then pull the pin out right before I get to it. Holding that pin in right before I get to it, pull it out. And here we have block 1 and 2 are now together, and I'm just gonna, oop, I forgot the pin right there. Take that pin out and it would lay right. There we go. I'm going to just finger press all this row that way. And when I remember what I'm doing, I would put an arrow on my little piece of paper that I pressed all my seams that way. So that would mean the next row I would press all the seams this way. And I put an arrow so that I can remember when I go to the ironing board which one. So now my stack is already in order. So I'm just going to move this over, grab the next one. And remember, when you look at it, you're going to have a print next to a solid. So that's how you know you have them correct. Your stars should be going opposite. So what we're going to do is throw a pin at the top seam. We're going to make sure that this seam is nested for the second seam. Throw a pin in there. Now you don't have to pin if you don't feel, the need to. You could just hold the seams, which is what I usually do, but I gotta at least show you the pinning part. Throw some pins in. See, this first one I really don't need because it just nests right up. So 1/4 inch down this side. I'm close to that pin. Pull it out. Right off the edge. Pull that last pin out. From here on out, I'm not going to pin. I'm just going to hold my seams. So again, I'm going to keep that seam pressed to my right. So to you, it doesn't look that way, but to me, it's to my right. Now I'm going to grab the next one. Again, it's going to be color to print, because if it was this way, you'd know it would be wrong. If it was print to print, you'd know you're wrong. So color and print next to each other. Lay them right sides together.
Panel and print?
No, it's not a panel. A panel is something different when it comes to the quilting world.
Solid in print type?
A solid in a print, yes. And I'm just going to hold these seams right where I want them. Nicely nested. All the way to the edge. Hi Tracy, nice to have you back. Obviously I'm back. I had to do this in parts because all the lights were, I brought them out there and it wasn't even as clear as I thought it would be, but it was clear enough for you guys to get the idea of what I was doing. My new camera has not come in yet, so until then, yes, I have to at least do what I can, you know, to make the lighting better. I don't usually go out to the living room anyway, so. In here the lighting is way, like all the lights back in here, it helps you guys see me a little bit more clearer. So hopefully when I go back out to my garage, it should be just as clear with my new camera. I think it's also the factor of my internet connection in the garage compared to as it is in the house. So the living room is farther towards the garage. So I think the internet connection is what makes it blurry and clear also. Because this is a lot clearer in here because my internet is right here in this room, so. And I just hold those seams.
How come your TV gets such better internet?
No idea. Don't ask me that question because I don't know. Holding the end, right down to it, finger pressing it out to my right. Grabbing the next one, again, print to solid, right sides together. And then
You realize that lights on?
start that 1/4 inch seam, make sure these seams match out. Thread cut. I always have all these little extra threads that get caught in here. As you can see, I got my kitty cat grooming himself today on my bed, which is very rare. Usually he's under the bed, but today he's actually on top of it. Again, right sides together. I'm going to get 2 rows made at least while we're on camera. That way I can show you how 2 rows are attached as well. It doesn't, the process goes pretty darn quick once you get zooming in and going. I always keep my machine on fast, so obviously it takes me no time. And when I'm talking, it seems like it takes more time while I'm making the video. But after this one, I could actually measure it to see what this, I'm pretty sure it's something 70. But I'll be able to measure this row, and that'll tell you the square because it's exact square. Oh, come on, get back up on that. Right there. That's what. One more piece after this for this row. This is row 1. And see, when they're sewn correctly and those 2 points come together, you will have a 1/4 inch. So when you attach the next row, you won't lose your points of your star. And if you do lose the points, that means it was cut too high or too low when you trim the blocks down, which is okay. It's not perfect. This is just a random project. And most people are making this for themselves or a loved one, and a loved one is not going to complain. Nobody's going to critique your work. And mix them together. And then finger press it to the side. I'll have my son come over here real quick. Mister who's hiding in the corner, so I can measure this strip. See how many inches it is, because that's how we'll know how square this quilt will be.
Probably.
Right here. Okay, grab this for me, please. Let's see how long this is going to be. Just pull it out there, so grab that. Just pull it with you. Pull it, pull it, pull it open. Pull it open. Pull, keep going, keep going. Keep going. Oh, look at that. I was off by an inch, so it's 71.5. Look at that. So yeah, I was pretty much almost correct. My math isn't that bad, I guess. So it'll be 71.5 inches square, because the next row hooks to that too. So yeah, there's our measurement. So here's row 1, and it already is wrote on it from the top to bottom, so you know which part is the top and bottom because it says row 1 in that order, and I did not move that pin, so now I know it always lays this way if it's in my reading view. So I'm just going to pick this up and move it out of my way, and now I'm going to grab row 2. I'll lay it next to me, take my first piece, and since my first row ironed or finger pressed to the right, this one's going to go to the left, so I'm going to put an arrow on it that my seam is now going to be pressed to the left. That's how I remember to keep them nested up every time. Lay these together, nest those two seams up. Nest it right there. It lays perfectly flat. You can feel it laying flat. If those seams were stacked, you would feel it. And now, take that seam and finger press it to the left. And you can feel if it's going one way or the other, and then you can see it at the end, obviously. Grab the next one, right sides together. Nest these seams. You can pin it if you need to. There's nothing wrong with pinning. I just always forget to take my pins out. That's my problem. And I sew over them quite often. Flipping it so that it will lay to the left. Finger pressing it. Grabbing the next one, and they're stacked exactly, picking them up exactly the way I picked them up off the floor, which makes it super easy. Give it a stitch for a second. Make sure this is laying flat on top of the side. Nested right up. The end matches perfectly. 1/4 inch seam all the way down that side. Flipping it to where I can finger press it to the left. Grabbing the next one. Right sides together. Hi, Miss Rodriguez. Oh, well, I can understand that because I have kids we feed here too. Gotta make sure those littles are eaten. Mess this right up. And if you missed it, Miss Rodriguez, we measured that first row. It's 71.5. So this quilt will be 71.5 inches square in that vicinity. It might lose a 1/4 inch or 2, you know what I mean, when it's put together, but that's the first measurement. So I was pretty correct when I came to my 70-inch square. Nest those right up, take a stitch, line the rest of it back up. Ooh, enchiladas. Now that sounds good. I think I need to make me some enchiladas soon. Last night was chicken and dumplings, and I just realized that my 1/4 inch seam got messed up right here. How did that happen? Where's my seam ripper?
You're talking about the dinner last night, and now you're talking
Chicken
about
and dumplings, but I was trying to find my seam ripper. Where is it at? I'm stuck to my machine.
right now.
Let me see if it's over there somewhere or on the floor. Oh man, are you seriously kidding me? I will use these. Look for my seam ripper, please. It decided to turn that bottom piece, and it was going sideways on it, even though the corner was attached. And I can't pick with this, so I need a seam ripper. And the next stuff, it's yellow handled.
I'm just saying, got a jug under here. A lot of jug.
Oh, here it is. Here.
Please, because I can't do it with this. Thank you. There we go. I'm not going to do the whole seam, just from this end where it like went in a little bit. And I'm still using really small stitches, so it makes it not as fast as seam rip, but for some reason they lay so much flatter, keeping my stitch length small. I just need a more pokier seam ripper, that's all. But this happens during sewing, making quilts. My eyes are playing tricks on me today too, because this is really killing my eyes. There we go. My fan still blows things out of the way as well. Sometimes I rip from the front side too. Just pull it a little, slide this in where I want. I don't have to give it too much tug though. This is not on the bias though, this seam right here. This seam is on the straight of grain, so it makes it just a little bit easier to rip seams without stretching and distorting the fabric. There we go. Now let's lay that back on there. I don't know what happened. Shifted. Yes, that is my cat on the bed. He usually is never on my bed. It's very rare for him to be laying on my bed. Come in about an inch above. He's just in a playful mood today, I guess. There we go. Oh, I didn't know how that happened. Sometimes I guess it happens to the best of us when we're sewing. Alright, grab the next piece. Sorry about that. Took for a minute to find a seam ripper. Get the job done. And this back on here. This one is the Hunter Star. Done with 8-point stars instead of half square triangles like I've seen it done by other online quilter tutorial people. Are you serious? Are you serious? Finger press it to the left. Grab the next piece. Yep, he's a big cat.
Fat one.
He's just a fat cat. I mean, he's not too fat. He just has a really saggy belly. Nesting these seams, you can feel them laying flat. Holding that piece nice and still, running it through, finger pressing it to the left, grabbing the next one. That is my son passing back and forth, by the way. I don't know what he's doing. Take a stitch, fold these nice flat where they're supposed to be, nested right up. Come to the end. And finger press to the left. Now normally I would make all the rows, but just for video's sake, I am going to take row 1 and row 2 and put them together so that you guys can see. So putting the rows together is quite simple. Just lay them right sides together, and what I do is I kind of just put them right sides together and grab the whole entire thing and then lay it on my lap. It doesn't always lay straight on my lap, but I start the seam off straight and I kind of just align it as I go. So the next part, taking a stitch, and we are going to, since I finger press one to the left and one to the right, now we not only have these other seams to match, but now we got to make sure that those other ones are laying nice and flat. When we get to it, they're nesting. So we have 2 extra seams to nest this way. And I'm just going to hold them down. Come to the next one. That one should be going up, and this one should be going down. Sometimes they hit the lip of the machine thing. And then go to the next seam, line that up, come close to it, get to the next one, make sure that they're facing the correct way that you want them. Go to the next one. And you can pin all these seams before you do this. Oops, hold it again. It hits that lip of the sewing strand. And I just line them as I go. Keeping them nice and flat. And now there is going to be a lot of bulk right here on this seam of all these diamonds coming together. So beware of that. Pinning it would probably be your best bet if you're trying to at least do a semi-decent job here. I'm not too worried. I just try to at least nest all the seams. If I have to, I'll snip back there and press it open, which allows that bulk to lay better both ways. Almost the end. I'm just aligning those seams right up with each other. Nesting them in, folding it to the very end.
Did you go in the trap? Did you go in the trap?
Then I bring it to the front. I'm not going to press any of these seams. Those I'll do on the ironing board. And I check all nicely. Those came together nicely. So this one's a little bit off. And what I would normally do is rip it out right there, but I'm not going to worry about it with this quilt because this is just for fun, honestly, so I'm not really worried. And that one is exact. That one is exact. That one is coming together. So it was just that one seam. I don't know if I should rip it out because it's really not that bad. I mean, it kind of is. Maybe I should.
You should get a cucumber.
I mean, all I do is take out 4 fingers worth, like I've showed you guys before. 4 fingers worth of stitches. And then realign it. Because when I press it when I'm finished, it will lay a lot flatter than what it's laying right now, is just looking at it. But I don't want to have too many of these off. So we will just rip this out and adjust it just a little bit. I can see where it went wrong right here. My eyes are killing me today. It's okay, I'll live.
But
So I'm
they're
just
killing
taking
you,
out-
so how are you gonna live?
They're not killing me, killing me. The pain is horrible, okay? How's that sound?
I'm trying to
My
make
kid
a joke,
likes
I'm
to
sorry.
be sarcastic about things when I say something.
Sorry, I'm trying to make a joke.
So just rip this little area out. This is how you would realign things. I'm going to make a 4-fingered worth area. I'm going to have to rip this part from the top because I can't get my stitches in back, or my seam ripper in right. Since my stitches are very, very tight. There we go. Get it in there. One stitch at a time. There we go. So see, I can stick my whole hand in there. Normally I just do 4 fingers worth, but. So I'm going to take it and align that with a pin, holding that together. Right where I want that seam to lay. Come on, stay. Alright, we're going to have that held down with a pin, come up about 1 inch above. close to that pin. Pull it out as I come to it. Without stitching on it. Now let's check it. Oh yeah, see, it does better to rip it out, let me tell you. I guess if you want it to be perfect, I guess you just have to do what you gotta do. So here's 2 rows together, and now you know they're perfect when you can see all of your stars, and then you would have some arrows, some stars, so it is every other. Star, arrow, star, arrow. That's where the Hunter Star comes in. So here's row 1 and 2, done. Just lay those out of my way. Hi Michelle, I'm sorry that you're not feeling good today. I actually am not either. I'm just dealing with it. I'm so exhausted. My eyes have been open for way too many days. I didn't get much sleep last night and here I go complaining. So I'm just trying to get things done. So the last row we press to the left. So this row I am pressing to the right. So I'm going to put an arrow that I remember that all of these are going to be pressed to the right. Remember, print, solid, print, solid. Always sits next to each other. Bring this up to me. I'm gonna stick a couple. I did do 2 rows.
For show.
I just did. And I'm just going to keep going for a few minutes. And that's fine, Mr. Rodriguez. Do what you got to do. So this one is being pressed to the right with my finger. Grab the next piece. Right sides together. And remember, solid and print next to each other. If it's 2 solids, you're going to have it wrong, and you'll know. You're going to nest those seams. They lay nice and flat. The only thing that doesn't lay nice and completely flat is when all the seams to the star come together. That's going to be the only seam that is kind of bulky. But like I said, we can take those, and when you press it, you can press them open. So that way when they're being quilted, it doesn't quilt over a big jumbled mess. So I'm going to finger press this to the right. Did you watch part 1, Michelle? It was laid out on the living room floor. And I was also sort of correct on the measurements. It's 71 1/4. Or 71 1/2, sorry. Why did I say quarter? By the time they're all sewn together, it'll probably be that. So it'll be 71 inches square. Somewhere in that. Like I was thinking. And I'm adding 2 borders, so it'll be nice and big. Definitely for a full size or a large throw, or as big as I can get it with borders. Right sides together. And like I said, if you need to pin these seams, pin them. And now you're just watching me do it. I'm just holding them nice and flat. Quarter-inch seam all the way down each side. Finger pressing, adding the next one, flipping it over. My next border, my first border will be this butter color. And the next one, like I was telling you, Michelle, is going to be that Moda fabric. Although I found another one that looks really good too out there in my stuff. We'll see. I will lay them all on top and or next to it and see what it looks like. Right sides together. Finger nesting that seam. That's what I do at first. Take a stitch or 2. Grab that next seam. Nest it right up. Take that bottom. Make sure it's aligned. Finger pressing to the right. down, take a stitch, come to that next seam, lay those. See, this piece was cut differently. I missed the dog ear on this one. So obviously it's not perfect. Yeah, 9 across by 9 down. So a completely square quilt. Get rid of that dog ear. Don't know how I missed that. When I was trimming. Did you finish your binding tool star, Michelle? Or at least the pieces to it to get them to be put together? I really loved doing that one, and yours is turning out amazing. Press to the right. And again, I usually just make a ton of rows, but for this, I'm just going to hook the rows together. I don't want all these getting messed up, so move it. Okay, so now row 3 is going to get laid right sides together, and it's going to go on the bottom. We'll lay them right next to each other. Bring it onto my lap. Hook those first 2 on here. Those 2 seams, nicely nested. And not lose my thread. Can't start out really fast. These machines like to unthread themselves when you go too fast. Hey, I gave everybody some time, Teresa, on this one. Like, I literally gave everybody a little bit over a week to do this quilt, so. But you can still follow along because there's replays, so. Yeah. It's not that hard to, I don't know, I put them together because I have a lot of time on my hands. Like, literally. In between kids and stuff like that, I don't know, I find myself a lot of time, I take a lot of breaks, and it gives me plenty of time to sew. Nesting all these seams. Again, you can probably stick a pin, see I'm coming to a star junction right here. So I want to make sure this is laying nice and flat. Since I have that smaller piece on the bottom, which I normally wouldn't, I would flip it over to the top. I'm going to hold that right where I want it. Come right in, nice and slow. I'm going to line the next one. Just going right down. Got this seam right here and back to another star, which I'm going to hold it until I get to it. Hold it right where I want it, really tight, and go nice and slow, and go to the next. Nesting them all up. That's funny. Me, I generally like start something and then I'll see something else somewhere else and I get that idea in my head to do it, and before finishing the other project I'm like, oh, dang it, so I start another one. So my problem is starting too many projects, but since I've been doing my lives, I've actually been finishing all my projects, so it's kind of helping me out with people following me through my progress of all these things. So, and I am attempting to make sure everybody follows along and they can finish with me, you know? Hear where I'm going on that one? So that way you don't have something you started. I give plenty of time for beginners. I'm hoping I'm giving plenty of time for beginners. Coming to another star junction. I'm just holding it really, really, really tight with my finger. I'm not pulling or anything. I'm just holding that, nesting that seam up and holding it as if I was using a pin without using a pin. And I'm almost at the end, which they meet up right where they're supposed to. Yeah, I think everybody does that. My mind says, oh my God, I like this. Like, I have this quilt idea I want to do for my mom for Christmas this year. Like, literally have very few months to accomplish it. But what I saw, I'm not going to say it out loud just in case she watches my videos, but it's an idea that I saw on Pinterest or something. And I was like, I told my daughter, and she was in here looking, she's like, yeah, we should make that for Grandma. And I was like, okay. Well, the idea of it looks like it'll be fast, because it's made with strip piecing, but it's also made with applique. Ooh, I like that. So, like, while I'm doing all these, I got to throw that in there, but I don't know if I can do it in a live video, because I don't know if my mom will watch it or not. I don't think she watches my lives as very often, but if I make something that's specifically for her, she's gonna know. Look at that, they lined up nice this time, holding that with my finger instead of using a pin. So there we go, 3 rows done. I'm wondering if I should keep going or turn it off for now. Just do it all on my own and come back when I do borders. So, because I just gave you guys all the general idea of how it's put together, so I'm 100% sure everybody can follow along with the beginning part. The next part is simple, just keep sewing those rows, and you can either do all the rows first, keeping your numbers on there with your pins, and it shows, the number shows which way that row is supposed to face. So as long as you keep that pin on there, as long as you can read it straight, then you know that's the next row. And I'm 100% sure that you guys will want to watch me attach the binding, the borders. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So I guess I'll let it go for now. I'll get off of here and free quilt allowance plus we have got to wait for them to send me the next step. That's a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, I'm going to do it offline because it's going to take a few minutes. I'll probably have it done in the next hour, but kids should be waking up soon. That's why I came on, because kids are taking their nap, and I told you guys, I only get like an hour and a half time here. So, and I still want to go have myself a smoke and drink some more water and relax a minute while nap time is going on. So what I'll do is I'll come back after all this is done, maybe either later today, tonight, and or tomorrow during nap time, and show you guys how to attach the borders. And then pressing wise, well, I'll just tell you this right now. Those seams you finger pressed, just press them the way that they go, but the seams where all the stars come together, if you want, you can clip that end right there, opening it up. You just clip right up to your seam, then you open it up and use your finger to hold it down, and then use the iron to press it open. That way it lays nice and flat at these junctions, because there is a lot of seams coming together at those stars. So, and I could feel it with my finger. So if I spread it out by opening it up, there's just a little snip you do right here to get that seam apart. It's one little snip, and then when you open it up, it creates a little, I don't know how well you guys can see this because you're far away, but it'll create this little square thing, and you just finger press, or iron it open. I just use my finger to push it down before the iron gets to it, and that way it lays nice and flat. So when you get to pressing part, that's how it goes. So again, this is considered homework, putting these together, because making the blocks was homework in the first place. So for those that are actually doing this,
Well,
there's
you
your
don't go to
homework is
school.
to now,
You don't go to school.
I give homework
Oh.
to finish the rows, sewing them together, and then hooking them together, and then press. When it's all complete, I press. So you can either press in between every step or press when it's all complete, which is what I do, and I find it a lot simpler. Alright, let's see.
You're now a quilting school.
Tiny 4-patch, yes. I couldn't think of the word. It makes a tiny little 4-patch in the back. So, feeling wise, I'm okay. My head really hurts. My legs have been weak, the nerve pain in my legs the last couple days, and I'm pretty sure that okay, so I started with my left foot having plantar fasciitis. I had surgery to correct it, but it never fixed the full problem. So now my right foot is doing what my left foot started doing, and the left foot, the one that had the surgery, it's just nerve pain now that hits it with bone spurs. So I'm pretty sure my right foot has the plantar fasciitis now, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with that, obviously. So Diane, you could go ahead and do it when you're ready, because these videos will be here for you to watch later. So yeah, feeling wise though, Teresa, I'm like, my head is killing me. It's the snot. It's all piled up right here around my eyes, and that, I keep doing that, so I'm thinking that's what's making my head hurt more. But I'm trying to get things done, and that's why I haven't been live in a few days. I've been working on other projects that I need to get done that are no part of anything I'm doing live here, so yeah. So any of any people that are following this, the next step is to just put all these rows together, sew all the rows together. Like I said, normally I sew all the rows and then I hook all the rows together. Normally I don't hook it on right after I sew it, but I needed to show you guys how it's done. So I'm gonna get going for now and then do my thing. And like I said, if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I got 6 more rows to do. It shouldn't take me too long. I'll probably be back tonight then, maybe, if not tomorrow. But I'll try for tonight, and then you guys can just watch the replay if nobody's on later tonight, because I know how it is. My time frame, my time here, if it's 7, it's like 10 or 11 or 12 other places. So I'll do my best. No, I think the sinus infection is clearing, and it's just really snotty. No more antibiotics. A complete one. Oh, you guys saw me finish. That's right, Teresa, you and Michelle can actually see my finished quilts. And anybody else, if you want to see the things that I've been working on off camera, go to my Instagram. The link is down below. I actually figured out how to get the link in there. So my Instagram, my Facebook, both of them are down below, and you can actually go to the pages and see what I've been working on the side. I did start some of them in the video, but I've been adding things, so yeah. Okay, then I will try my hardest, Diane, if you guys could stay up late since it is Friday night, to get these done, and we'll come back later with the next part, which is adding borders. So, alright, I keep saying I'm rambling on here. So like and subscribe if you like my videos, comment below if you have any questions, and I'll be back later if I can. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Wow.
Where's the stop? Oh, there it is.